What do the Great Pacific Garbage Patch and Game of Thrones have in common with Russian disinformation? Find out in this special edition of StopFake. The amount of disinformation that's polluting media reporting about Ukraine has been difficult to conceptualize. It's like the amount of plastic in our oceans. You know what a plastic straw looks like. They're literally everywhere. But like most people, you probably don't think twice about using them or what happens to them after you throw them away. And that's the challenge. Up until the ocean cleanup project came along, we didn't have the ability to visualize the magnitude of the problem. Ocean cleanup started in 2013 and brought the world's attention to the existence of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch that was estimated to be about twice the size of Texas or 3 times the size of France. That analogy made the size and scope of the garbage patch understandable, but only with the visual aid of a scaled version of 3 Frances in the Pacific Ocean did the problem become comprehensible. Understanding the size of something, the scope, really does matter. And although disinformation is conceptually like garbage, it's still just information, and the amount of disinformation is difficult to put into pictures. But on May 13, De Groene Amsterdammer, a magazine based out of the Netherlands, reported that the St. Petersburg-based internet research agency, also known as a Russian troll factory, posted 65,000 tweets over 2 days following the downing of Malaysian Airlines flight MH17. An international consortium concluded that the airplane was shot down by a Russian Buk missile over eastern Ukraine on July 17, 2014, killing everyone on board. Using open source and other data, the Joint Investigative Team, as well as the citizen journalist group Bellingcat, established that the Buk missile system came from Russia, illegally crossed the Ukrainian border. Illegally crossing a border is, today, the euphemism of choice for invasion, especially when it comes to reports prepared by international organizations and some government agencies about Russian military vehicles, equipment, and personnel occupying Ukraine's Crimean Peninsula and the Donbass. But that's a different story. Bellingcat, however, has written several reports that detail where the Buk came from, what unit it was part of, and even the drivers who helped transport it to Ukraine. Now, the Dutch journalists at De Groene Amsterdammer analyzed 9 million tweets posted by the St. Petersburg trolls that included hashtag Kyiv shot Boeing down and hashtag Kyiv provocation that were posted and reposted over 40,000 times in the hours immediately after the plane was shot down and another 24,000 times the following day. After July 19, 2014, the number of tweets fell dramatically, but in just over 2 days, 65,000 tweets were posted. So what's 65,000 tweets? The number 65,000 seems big, but what does it represent? Well, back in 2014, one tweet comprised of 140 characters. Not a lot. However, 65,000 tweets is about 9,100,000 characters. Now that seems like a lot, but can you comprehend that scope? Well, if we consider that on average, a word, one word, has about 4 or 5 characters, 2,000 characters comes to around 450 words. A standard editorial opinion column is usually between 800 and 1,000 words. So, 9,100,000 characters is about 1,820,000 words. Again, is that a lot or not? Well, the Bible has about 783,137 words. Because it's the most read book in the world, that at least provides us some sense of scope. But when you read a book, you don't tell your friends you've just read an 800,000 word book. That would be weird. So the question then is, how many pages is 65,000 tweets, or 9,100,000 characters, or 1,820,000 words? Well, if 450 words can fit on a page, that's about 4,044 pages. So is that a lot or a little? And here we turn to George R.R. Martin for a little context. By the way, Martin recently found himself also fighting fake stories online. On May 13, he wrote that internet journalism is an oxymoron. But let's get back to the 65,000 tweets. To date, there are 5 books in the A Song of Ice and Fire series. The first book, A Game of Thrones, is 694 pages. The second book, A Clash of Kings, has 768 pages, and the third book, A Storm of Swords, has 973 pages. George R.R. Martin relaxed a bit for the 4th installment, A Feast of Crows. It only has 753 pages, but he made up for it in the 5th book, A Dance of Dragons, that has 1,016 pages. So the total number of pages written in the A Song of Ice and Fire series thus far is 4,204 pages. Martin says 2 more books are coming, which is cool, but the 5 that have already been published are equivalent to the 65,000 tweets. It took Russian trolls 2 days to tweet the equivalent of Martin's books that were published over the course of 15 years. That's the scope of Russian disinformation about one single event in just 2 days after the downing of MH17. The result? People still doubt the hard evidence that has been presented showing that the Russian military is behind the downing of MH17. 65,000 tweets, or the equivalent of all 5 Game of Thrones books over 2 days, with the hashtag cave provocation and cave shot Boeing down. This amount of disinformation has 2 purposes. It is designed to get you to trust the lie and doubt the truth. Now try to imagine what years of disinformation have achieved in our hyper-connected world. Look, fact and fiction need to be kept separate. But this becomes very difficult every time someone reposts or retweets a fake story on social media. The question of scope should be at the center of an informed conversation about disinformation, because the effects of disinformation have serious consequences on national and international relations. For 5 years now, StopFake has been fact-checking reports from Russian media about Ukraine and breaking them down in an effort to set their record straight and give reality a chance. At StopFake, we call it performing a truth autopsy. Don't fall for the bait. Call out the fakes when you see them. You can learn how to identify a fake in the tools section of the StopFake website. You can take a test to see if you can distinguish fact from fiction about some of Russia's most common fake narratives about Ukraine. And you can stay up to date on Russian disinformation by subscribing to the weekly StopFake Digest. Stay vigilant, speak the truth, and do your part to stop these fakes from polluting our minds. I'm Marko Suprun. Thanks for watching.